Breaking news today. Where do we stand with Hamas and the current situation in Israel and Gaza? About 1,200 people were killed and over 200 were taken hostage when Hamas gunmen launched an unprecedented attack on Israel from the Gaza Strip on October 7. Israel has retaliated with airstrikes and a ground offensive against Gaza. According to the Hamas-controlled health ministry, over 11,000. Why is Israel using military force in the Gaza Strip? IDF warplanes are currently conducting an aerial assault on Gaza as ground forces advance through the northern part of the territory. To supplement its current army of 160,000, Israel has called up 300,000. Israel's clear goal, according to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, is destroying Hamas military and governing capabilities, and freeing the hostages. Mr. Netanyahu has refused calls for a ceasefire unless the hostages are released. Moreover, he has declared that Israel will have overall security responsibility for the Gaza Strip for an indefinite period, following the conclusion of the conflict. The United States has warned him, however, that Israel cannot return to the territory it abandoned. Israel estimates that there are 30,000 fighters in Hamas' armed wing. The group has claimed in the past that the length of the tunnels it uses to conduct its operations is 500 kilometers, 310 miles. What would happen if Israel invaded Gaza on the ground? Where do we stand now with the situation in Gaza? Israeli forces stormed Al-Shifa Hospital, the largest hospital in northern Gaza, at dawn on Wednesday. The Israeli military claimed it had fought off explosives and terrorist squads, with precise and targeted operations. A journalist inside the hospital told the BBC that soldiers had entered the main emergency department and there were tanks on the premises. Israel and the United States believe Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad used the basement of the building as a command center. Hamas disputes this. Israeli ground operations in the Gaza Strip, with hospital locations highlighted. On Tuesday, the United Nations estimated that over 4,000 patients, staff, and displaced people were housed there. Patients on dialysis and the dozens of premature babies whose incubators had to be turned off due to the power outage. According to the WHO, they are extremely worried for the people inside. The Israeli military claims to have supplied the medical facility with incubators, baby food, and other necessities. Detroit area Israeli Jews in March were left stranded due to a purported bus driver sick out. For the pro-Israel rally in Washington, D.C., hundreds of Jewish people from Detroit were unable to get a ride from the airport because a bus driver sick out. About 2.5 hours after landing in D.C. from Detroit, rumors started going around the plane that there was an ongoing walkout of the bus drivers who worked for the company that the Jewish Federation of Detroit hired to drive us into the city for the rally, Jonah Seinfeld-Chop told Fox and Friends early on Tuesday. He claimed that a Federation representative had used the plane's public address system to inform passengers that some bus drivers had refused to transport them into the city from Dulles International Airport. He claimed that they disembarked from the aircraft for 15 minutes and boarded 3 buses around 2 p.m. before being told to return to the tarmac because the buses were not intended for them. The group then expressed support for Israel to the best of our ability. Chop did not elaborate on whether he wants the suspected bus drivers fired or not, but he did call the incident very upsetting. The bus company's name, he added, was unknown to him. The bus company owner who did show up to pick up some of the group blames the broker who was hired for the miscommunication. She thinks the broker is making an excuse for not contracting enough buses to transport 1,000 people to the rally. According to the Jewish Federations of North America, the rally was the largest pro-Israel gathering in American history. They predicted that 290,000 people would show up in person and another 250,000 would tune in online. Though they did not immediately respond to a request for comment, the Jewish Federation of Detroit wrote on Facebook that they were deeply proud of the 900 Detroiters who made the trip to Washington, D.C. to stand in solidarity for Israel, against anti-Semitism, and for the release of the hostages, at the March for Israel.